Hello and welcome to the Shift Asia in-depth series with Malaysian International Food and Beverage Trade Fair, or MIFB 2024, the podcast where we dive deep into the heart of sustainable food and beverage innovations across Asia. My name is Frida Liu, and as we build up to the MIFB Trade Fair happening in Kuala Lumpur from July 17 to 19, each episode will shine a light on the pioneers who are reshaping the industry. So whether you're a business owner, a food enthusiast, or simply curious about the future of food, join us as we uncover the taste of tomorrow today. So this episode dives into the art of zero-waste cooking, where every part of the ingredients, be it vegetables, seafood, or meat, is utilized to create innovative and delicious dishes. And these chefs excel in using unconventional parts like vegetable peels, fish bones, and meat trimmings, transforming what would be waste into culinary delight. So we'll be exploring how these practices not only lead to more sustainable kitchens, but also enhance the culinary experience by introducing new textures and flavors. I've got here with me Chef 𝐈𝐍-𝐃𝐄 from Eat and Cook, and Chef John Lim from Roots, who has come all the way from Kuching. Thank you for flying in for this. I want to know a little bit about your story, right? And how did you all both get into this space? And you both will use local ingredients, right? So how did that come about? And say, let's just look at local ingredients. Maybe we talk to the person who came further away first.
So how I look at the indigenous ingredients in Sarawak, basically it's abundance, and they're all very rich in their own self.
Yeah.
And many times, we work with all these local ingredients. We kind of get fascinated, get surprises as well. We are all part of this curiosity people, where we see things we just get excited about. Yeah.
Yeah. So you are more into foraging in a way?
At the early years, yes.
Yes.
Yet until today, we still do a bit of foraging.
Right.
But as in we start in the early days, we know what we are we in search of a lot of local ingredients.
Right.
We do a lot of experiments, a lot of R&D along the way. But yet until today, we kind of like slow down because we already know we already have a data of what we want to forage.
Right.
And how we can of course see in a way that what we can see what is more consistent in terms of supplies and demand, as well as curating a menu with ingredients that we want to work with.
Okay. You know, as a Sarawakian, right, we would typically know our fern, our bidin, right? What else has been an interesting discovery that most people, I guess, in Peninsula wouldn't know about?
Tempoy.
Oh, tempoy, okay.
Yeah, tempoy. Tarak. I think tarak, the harvesting here, there is as well.
Right.
But just, it's common in Sarawak.
Okay.
Yeah. Then we have our engkalak, our baby eggplants.
Right.
As well as engkabang.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
these are all the ingredients that we commonly work with in our restaurants. Right. It can be developed in many sources. Yeah.
And for you?
Okay, so when I talk about why and how I started like using locals ingredient in my restaurant, it was back to early stage when I still work with some chef.
Okay.
I have one of my chef cuisine. It was basically from other country. And yeah, it was the early stage, right? It was trying to focus on European ingredients, cuisine, special French. As Korean student in Malaysia, right, we are always actually learn the basic from French.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in the times where this chef, he actually went to foraging and he gets some ingredient. So for example, I still remember until right now, it was broccoli. It's our jungle garlic.
Yes.
And he bring to the kitchen and he show everyone, like, what is this? Like, none of us can be answer this question.
Right.
So back then, he was one of my best tutor. I would say mentor as well. So he just pulled me on and said, Lee, it's a shame of you, man. You have no ideas. What about your country?
Right.
And yeah, but you are shaving truffle right now. You're doing French cooking. But it's just a time that for you to wake up, like, you should do something for yourself. Like, what is Malaysian cuisine? What we have in Malaysia.
Right.
So after that, I'm planning to leave, and it was COVID. It was the best time for me and my team, like my partners. During COVID, we do nothing, but we do a lot of research.
Okay.
We do a lot of foragings. We do a lot of R&D. Then we open up a very small restaurant, like 6-seater,
Okay.
where we started using-
6-seater.
Yes,
Okay.
heard
just
of it,
6-seaters.
yes.
Okay.
It's just like tables, like canteens,
Yeah.
6 stool,
Okay.
1 kitchen. That's it. We do everything there.
Okay.
It was 300 square feet.
Wow.
That was how we started. Yeah, we're trying to sell.
I remember.
Yeah,
Can remember the humble beginning of yours.
exactly. And I'm proud of that. You know, like it's selling like $150, 6-course menu in a mall that you don't see human being. It's like no one there because basically it's like a old mall.
Okay.
We're still in 𝐷
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm getting more crowd when people trying to celebrate. So what basically this little restaurant doing is like everything we get it ourselves. Like fish, we get it at night. And then I will try to go foraging, so I'm trying to go early market to get some things that I want. So we did frequently, and we do local omakase.
Okay. So this was in 2020, the 6-seater was in 2021.
2021.
2021.
It was early of 2021, yes.
Okay. And now you've got, you're in the Michelin guide.
We humble get it last year.
Right.
We actually been announced, no, last 2 years. Yeah, I was in the guide for 2 years.
You know, one of the things when you mentioned earlier on as well, right? You know, I guess as chefs, when you look at the that whole thinking, when you look at the bin and there's so much of waste that you were saying that you think there's something wrong with that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I
Yeah.
think both of us, we agree, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like sad case when you see a lot of things inside the dabin.
Right.
Like, and most of the time, if thinking way from a businessman, you're saying, oh, this is cost. And as a chef, can we do something about it?
Right.
Yeah. Then,
But sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
It's just that I felt, right, the local ingredients that we have are so rich. Sometimes when it goes to a bin, we feel like it's a waste.
Yes.
You're right, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yes. Yes.
like special mango peel.
Right.
Mango peel can be very tasty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Like harum manis, people eat the flesh.
Flesh.
But when I was in the farm of harum manis in 𝐷 I told the owner, eat it with the skin.
Huh.
It's double in flavors. You know, just wash it off. So just bite it with the skin. It's like so tasty.
Okay. Now, okay, so both of you, like you use unconventional parts like vegetable peels, right? And you're talking about this, fish bones and meat trimmings, right? So I guess food wastage in mind, do you think it's also an Asian way of how we were growing up, how I guess our parents, the way they cook, we don't waste anyhow.
Yes.
Agree. You can see like how our parents did it most of the time. They will boil maybe soup with carrot, but carrot skin with tong sui, which is Chinese dessert.
Okay.
And a bit of longan, you know. Yeah. So they're trying to save everything.
Okay.
I think that's the practice, especially for Chinese. Yeah, and especially maybe it's the Chinese from Kampong, like myself, like my family. Yeah, that's the thing.
You don't waste anything, right? So you talked a little bit about foraging as well, right? And of course, in Sarawak, I know we are abundant and everything. But what about here? What have been some of the discoveries in Peninsular Malaysia?
Oh, there's a lot of things. So let's talk about maybe something very, very close to Sarawak film. They have like, what we name this in Sarawak, yeah?
Sorry?
The film.
The first begin.
Midin.
Yeah.
We have Paku.
Yeah.
It was sibling or same
Yes,
family.
And then I think the fern family are also categorized in many kind of
Yes.
different ferns.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but okay, to be honest, I like Midin.
Yes.
I love Midin, but I can't get it here.
Right.
So I had to find some things that can actually get the same directions. And it depends on season. Like right now, hot and cold, perfect for firm to grow up. The way I get here is most of the time is from Rulangan, which is close to the city.
Right.
You know, like film or meeting, when you cut off, maybe you have to present it in like 6 hours, 7 hours, but
And these things can't be farmed,
exactly. Yeah.
right? You can't grow a farm. It has to be.
It's to be in the wild.
It has to be in the wild.
It's
Sometimes-
a gift from nature.
Sometimes very surprisingly, around our Longkang alley,
Yes.
there grows ferns as well.
Yes, it do. So
that I do consider that as foraging as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably
It
tastes better by the drain.
Funny thing is, back then when we were finding all these ferns and all, market don't sell it,
Right.
So what we do is along the drains and everything,
Right.
we just pluck all the ferns and everything from around the longkang there. But no surprise that I think that's partially how you kind of like be more aware
Right.
along you. where you
live
walk,
and
yeah.
everything. And I remember this growing up, right? And this was in Brunei, and how my dad and aunties were just going to the side of the what and just cutting all this to make soup. You
Yeah.
know, and this was I remember this vividly. I wasn't involved, but I was watching them doing that, right? Now, and you know, so I know, for example, you just got into the Michelin Guide as well, right? How do you think, right, how vital is that to the restaurant's standing and the work that you do? Do you think it's important?
I think yes. That's how you brings up your country.
Right.
You know, I think for the certain guides that you can be done, or putting the maps on Malaysia as a destination for people who dine
Right.
in Malaysia.
Right.
So I guess you have to create something, not just for the diners, but also for our nations. Like
Right.
you probably presented what's been done in the hard work that you have been done, which is your flavors, the ingredient itself.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
what's what happened in Malaysia? What else we have in Malaysia?
Right.
You know, other than this and that, what else? Yeah.
Okay.
That's important parts.
Yeah, and I think it's so important, the work that you both do. For example, like I guess when people go to your restaurant, they can taste the whole of Malaysia, right? And we are using our local ingredients. And when you go to Kuching, or you definitely have to go to Roots, because, and it's explained so clearly, right? Sometimes you don't know what you're eating when you're in out there, but when it's explained to you clearly, and it highlights Malaysia,
You do.
highlights Sarawak. Okay, and right now, when you look at your clientele, do you get more tourists or locals? Are we appreciating that? And my point is, when the locals come, are they appreciating what we've got?
For me, I think in Sarawak, yes, we have a lot of tourists, to be honest, in our restaurants. I think 60%, 50% tourists, 50% locals, I
Right.
would say, for us.
Okay,
Because we are in the heart of a heritage building.
yes,
And along the heritage building, we have a lot of hotels as well.
right.
So people will walk around the buildings and around the streets. And so we are just very easy to be spotted.
Okay,
So I think that's really normal for us.
right.
And I think because of that, it has a really a special message, and also very important for me to curate such a menu or restaurant with its own uniqueness, is to, of course, again, to let the tourists or to let the locals understand there's a very special offering in this restaurant.
Yeah.
Something that is worth a destination.
Yeah. Yes, it's true. Like, I mean, if I go to certain places and you hear this restaurant, I want local food, and you would do that, right? You would do Google, TripAdvisor.
Yeah.
And for you?
Okay, so how's locals look at 𝐈𝐶? I wanted to say, when it's early stage of when we started, it was during COVID.
Yeah.
So the ideas behind the restaurant is trying to adapt and sharing it about
Okay.
what we've been talking. So the understanding and the appreciation's early stage, it wasn't that good. So it takes time. So it used to be like, maybe people will come and dine and say yes, but they don't really understand.
Right.
But after 2 and 3 years, hard works, I think, yeah, we do. Like, locals come in right now, most of that is like 60 to 70%.
Okay.
And they come in, they will say, yes, thank you for the experience. That's what we
Right.
need. You know, experience is what we can create it, the fun part
Yeah.
for our diners,
Right.
for any occasions they bring in, or even just for our tourists, right? They will understand more because of this.
Yes.
And then they can get understanding about the flavors. And then when they go back to their country, they will remember there's a memory with us in 𝐈𝐶. It was interesting, and there's the flavors of Malaysia.
Right.
Yeah.
And they appreciate the fact that you are using all the excess parts and all that? Do people like that?
For us, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because in general, that's what we do in our restaurants. We use each parts. Like for instance, like you were mentioning fish bones. Sometimes we also get inspiration from restaurants abroad. That's where I think we all have to break down with our kitchen team, and that's where we kind of like develop flavors. I think as Chef Lee also, I think you will agree that fats and a lot of different umami salts and
Yes.
all, they all develop flavors as well, especially in terms of fats lah. Yeah.
True.
So many times we zoom into a very detailed part of the bones and everything because they all have their own glutens.
Yes.
So
And I know you have all these pots in your restaurant. You're
Yeah.
brewing and
yes,
developing.
garum.
yeah, garums and everything.
Yeah.
So we have been developing that ever since we opened the restaurant.
Right.
That was the very early stage. I think that's where we actually thought that, okay, this is how we want to start a restaurant with. So we started with garums, miso and everything because you have to have a foundation.
Okay.
Yeah, so we started up with that to develop flavors. Then only we added salt and sugar to actually kind of like balance the flavors. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So one thing we're glad that Malaysians are more, on the whole, are more supportive of this. Yeah, so I think we're moving in that direction. We're appreciating our local food already. Yeah. Then do you think F&B operators as a whole should be looking more at local ingredients, or is there a challenge with the supply chain locally?
Yes, I will say yes.
Okay.
Okay. How it works actually? Why F&B operators should support more locals thing? I mean, in based on what my experience is basically when we support more of our locals, farmers, fishermen, to try to improve themselves.
Right.
Where
Right.
all this related to fun, which is money.
Yes.
So if we appreciate more from a particular farm,
Yeah.
they're trying to develop more and more.
Yes.
Okay.
Where you support them on whatever was done from the farm, you try to appreciate, you use it.
Right.
Without complaint, but comment.
Okay.
Like maybe this carrot can be slightly bigger on the productions.
Right.
Give some comments to farmers.
Yeah.
They'll try it. They'll definitely try to become better and better.
Yes, of course.
That's how we strong up
Agree.
our boundary of these chains of supplies,
Right.
Give feedback to fishermen. This fish, when you catch, maybe you do this, like, that's where I want to talk about 𝐂𝐸-𝐷𝐵.
Okay.
Like back to the boundary, if like as our operator, we can't support in a certain point where it's money is, like the prices they ask for, it's hard for them to basically done whatever we want. Like they need hard work on putting the skill of 𝐂𝐸-𝐷𝐵. They maybe need 2 more staff on the boats to get this done. Like if without support, our chain of supply was maintained like how it been 10 years ago, and 20 years later, we are still in the same boundary.
Yeah.
The system won't change because
Right.
of no one's take the step to trying to be better and better.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have to
But I think to say that in KL, there's a lot of restaurants that are actually looking into this local sustainability system where they will support the farmers, the fishermen and all. Where else? I think in Kuching, we are still a very small circle
Right.
of people that is doing it.
Okay.
But it's just we really hope in the future that everybody will look into this
Yeah.
because this really requires profession as well.
Yeah,
Right.
true.
Yeah, because you have to be more. I would say the word gung ho
Yeah.
to say not
Yeah.
just in cooking,
Right.
but you also it's as
In
well as to
overall.
think about the environment as well.
The whole support
Yes, the
structure
whole-
has
yes,
to has
correct.
to be big. Okay, so and ultimately, I guess it's more cost effective and all that, right? What are the benefits have you gotten by using local ingredients and minimizing food wastage, right? That I guess you were saying that other operators can learn from. What are the benefits?
First thing first, we will talk about cost.
Cost lah,
Yeah,
okay.
that's just most effective.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Without earning certain point of money, right? How the restaurant going to be sustained? When we talk about sustainability, the restaurant have to be sustainability first. On the operation side, it was all about cost and money.
Right.
So once you get this done, I think it's also effective on. It will help the team where they gather more idea, which is I think that's how art's been done because you gain or you grow your team with a little bit more effort
Okay.
to trying to get something done,
Right.
like fish bone.
Right.
What do you need to do after you just cut and are you going to throw? So give some tasks to the younger generations.
Okay.
Like think about this.
Right.
It's fun.
Right.
It's fun. Yeah.
What can you do with the bones? and
Yes,
all
you are
that?
right. So instead of that, just by saving costs, maybe you get a better chef in your team
Right.
in the future, right?
Okay. And so tell us about your future plans, John, Chef John, and also like I know you've got other restaurants as well, right, Chef Lee? Yeah.
Yeah, we opened another restaurant, our sister restaurant is in CD like 4 months ago. But it's basically a restaurant trying to celebrate about a local's flavors, but all on barbecues.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a cave restaurant, I would say.
Okay.
I built the restaurant at cave where I love cave. So don't get me wrong, I love Sarawak. I've been in Sarawak quite many times. So because I like where the peaceful thing is. Yeah. So
Right.
I love natures. I love natures.
Okay.
Yeah. So the restaurant is trying to build places for diners to come out, like just eat and drink.
Right.
That's
okay.
it. Yeah.
And yourself?
For me, it's just like I'm trying to keep hold of everybody lah.
Okay.
So at this point of time, talents are moving around.
Right.
It's hard for me. It's
Right.
hard. I think it's hard for the Sarawak
Especially,
businesses.
yes, in Sarawak.
Yeah, we have a lot of young talents who are actually now looking to go abroad, like it or not, coming to KL or going abroad.
Singapore.
Yeah, but for me, it's to keep hold of people because in running business, it needs people.
Right.
Yeah, so I think that's my biggest challenge for these past 2 years, ever since MCO has lifted. I think that is our biggest challenge because what we do requires time, requires a lot of passion and patience as well. So for the younger generation, they have to understand that how all these cuisines or these new concepts are developing.
Right.
You can't constantly just dream, but I think dream have to also walk the talk as well.
Right.
So I always share with people the bigger picture and the truth about the industry.
Yeah.
That's why I have never thought of what's after roots.
Right.
But for me at the moment is I'm blessed that I'm working together with my current owners to see where we can develop young chefs, young
Young
talents.
chefs, young talents.
Yeah, at this point of time, that is my biggest goal lah.
Okay. So thanks to both Chefs Lee and John. Do check their restaurants out because I think they're doing really great, innovative things. And we want to support Malaysian restaurants who, are recognized on the global stage and really, proud of what we have, and don't waste, right? And so you've been watching the Shift Asia in-depth series with the Malaysian International Food and Beverage Trade Fair, MIFB 2024. And of course, it's a pleasure to bring you today's story of innovation and impact in the F&B sector. And the conversation doesn't end here. Join us at the Malaysian International Food and Beverage Trade Fair happening in July to see these sustainable practices in action and discover how you can be part of this exciting industry transformation.